Welcome to the Forsyth Magazines podcast. I'm Brooke Eagle, your host, bringing you the stories of the people shaping our community. From business owners to local leaders, we'll explore their journeys, passions, and lessons learned. Let's dive in. Hey guys, we are back with another podcast episode, and I am sitting down today with a friend of mine, Dalton McGuire. He is the agency manager at NC Farm Bureau. Hey, Dalton.
Hey, Brooke. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So Dalton is was previously a police officer. Back in his previous life, and then he made the switch to the insurance world. I want you to tell us about that. How that happened.
Yeah. It was a hard decision for sure. I loved what I did. I was on our SWAT team in Winston, a little junior narcotics team too. So had a lot of fun, but we started having kids. Schedule started getting crazy. Started looking for something I could do a little bit more, I say 8 to 5. I feel like I'm on the phone all night and all day. But just wanted something a little bit easier on the family life. And Farm Bureau, we were with Farm Bureau already. I knew my agent. He was a great guy, Justin Folt, and he talked to me about the job and seemed like he really enjoyed it, and I thought I would too, and I really have. So It's been a good transition.
How many years ago has that been now?
I left in 2021.
Okay.
So
it's 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
And Dalton and his wife Haley have 3 beautiful boys.
Yeah, minions.
Oh my gosh, they are adorable. I love watching them on social media. They're the best. So, Dalton, I want to do some get to know you questions.
Okay, sure.
So our listeners can get to know you. All right. First one. If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
It's probably a boring answer, but I think I have to go with a steak, just a well-cooked steak.
There you go.
It's hard to beat. I can have it every night.
You got your protein.
That's right.
I like the way you think.
Right.
Oh, my gosh. What is something that you hate but you wish you loved?
Oh, gosh. Reading. I do like to read, when I find a good book. It's just I can't commit to it. And every time I finish a book, I love it.
Yeah.
But opening the first page is the hardest thing in the world. So I wish I was just addicted to it.
I agree. It is hard to get started. My brother posted an Instagram story yesterday of a book that he finished reading, and he rated it. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
You read?
Right. Yeah.
I was shocked.
I know I could be smarter. I just
Are you the older sister or younger sister?
I'm the older sister. That's funny. What is the dumbest way you've ever been injured?
Oh, gosh. Okay. So I blew both my knees out, different incidents, but the most recent was in 2018. I thought I was 18 again, and I tried to dunk in a pickup game of basketball, which I used to could do.
Yeah.
And I got absolutely stuffed by the rim and blew my ACL out coming down.
Not properly warmed up, maybe.
Right? Yeah, well.
Getting old's hard.
My brain thought my body could do a lot of stuff, and it can't. So.
But you're in the gym a lot. You're a gym guy.
But I cannot jump as high as I used to, unfortunately. So.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. So, what are some of your hobbies outside of being a dad?
Yeah.
Doing the insurance thing.
I do play golf a lot. My boys are starting to get into it, so that's fun. I love coaching. I really enjoy coaching my kids. I haven't been able to do it the last year. Just
what sports?
Soccer, basketball, baseball. They're kind of into everything.
Okay.
But I don't know enough about those sports. I know soccer a little bit, but they're getting to the age now where I'm like, I think you need someone that knows what they're doing. You know what I mean? And I think I've kind of aged out of that, but that's fun too. Yeah.
So what do you think, especially your oldest, what sport is he most interested in right now?
He's dying to play hoops. He's got the basketball Jones. So
okay.
He's all about it. We have a little net or a basket in the driveway, and he's kind of getting after it every day. Would not have believed it a year ago, but he seems pretty addicted to it right now.
It's got to be fun to watch your kids get super into
100%.
into something.
Yeah, we got 3 boys, so we'll see what they're all what they're all into, but it's a lot of moving around to all these
Yeah.
games and practices and everything. So.
Even your dog is a boy, right?
Right, yeah,
Poor Haley.
yeah.
She is way outnumbered.
She's the queen of the castle, though. Yeah.
She's the best mom. You
That's
picked a good one.
one hen for all those roosters. That's bad.
That's right. No doubt. She keeps us in line.
Oh my gosh, I love that. So, Dalton, I want to talk about some insurance things.
Sure.
I want to talk about some common insurance like misconceptions that you feel like you're debunking all the time. Like an example would be like, if you have a red car, your insurance is higher.
Yeah, I actually got that question last week. So they were choosing between two cars, and they're like, "Well, this one's red," and I'm like, "It does not affect the premium.
Oh my gosh,
so do
that's
whatever color
funny.
you want, But yeah, that's one we actually do get a lot. I think the biggest misconception in all reality is the term full coverage. People say, "Oh, I got full coverage on my car," or full coverage on my house. So usually it's cars, but that doesn't exist. There's no such thing as full coverage. So. We try to keep that word out of the office, right? There's every policy, especially on the auto side, full coverage, usually they're referring to just they have comprehensive and collision. So if they get into a wreck, they got a lien holder on there. Need to make sure it gets paid out to them and the lien holder. But, there's endorsements for rental car. There's endorsements for towing. There's endorsements for if you go rent a car and you want coverage on it, right? So, the term full coverage, it really refers to about 20 different endorsements that could be on there.
Yeah.
And that's why it's really important, especially if you're shopping around or if you're wanting to look over your policy, just get with the agent and meet with them one-on-one because they can walk you through all these things. And a lot of people, I would too if I wasn't in the industry, right? But you'd be surprised at what, you can have and what you don't have and you think you have. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, yeah.
Well, see, the thing is, though, it goes, and this is not you.
Sure.
This is insurance industry. Say what you mean and mean what you say.
Yeah.
I think the wording could be plainer.
Yeah.
And more self-explanatory instead of full coverage.
Right.
Well, that sounds like there's full coverage. It should be full coverage other than.
Right. Yeah.
Asterisk.
So when someone calls me and they say, "Hey, I can buy a new car, I need full coverage on," I go, "Well, okay, hold on." So, I can throw every single endorsement on this thing if you want me to.
Yeah.
But for instance, you're buying your sixth car and you want rental car on all of them, you only have two people driving.
Yeah, that would make sense.
It's going to be expensive. It starts adding up. So, if you can just take a beat and kind of go over it for a second, it takes 5 minutes, but then you have the clear picture and you've got the coverage you actually want and need.
Well, and I would say that's one of the many pros of having an actual physical local agent that you can come to your office, which is right down the street from here, and actually talk to somebody instead of, a chat bot online or like trying to figure out the online portion of it. I think that's huge.
And we enjoy it. I mean, that's my favorite part of my day is when someone comes in and wants to look over their stuff. I'm like, oh, great, I get to talk to somebody.
A people person.
Yeah, for sure. But it does help. I mean, we have Farm Bureau in general. We have an office in every single county in the state. We're the only company that has that. So, even if you're, let's say you're my client and you move to Wilmington, you can walk into that office in Wilmington and they're going to sit down and look it over with you and help you. So it's extremely beneficial. But I would, my biggest advice to anybody would just be, when you get that renewal page in and you're wondering what you got, just call, have a conversation, or stop by and look at it because 5 minutes can save you some heartache down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say for me, I got in my first accident. Well, it was just with me and the ice, but
we have a lot of those. Yeah.
But I had recently added the rental car coverage to my policy, and I was so glad I did because I just had a rental car paid for about almost a month, and it would have been a bummer to not have that.
Those are hard conversations if you haven't sat down and talked, right?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, this happened. I need this, and you go, ooh. That's not your policy.
Yeah,
but
you
again,
didn't have that.
We don't run into it too often because we do try to get ahead of things. But we just save everyone a bad conversation later by just having that conversation up front.
Absolutely. So coming back to that a little bit, what are some things that you see business owners who have policies with you, things that just can shut them down overnight that they should consider having added to their policy?
Yeah. So, on the small business piece, Farm Bureau, our kind of bread and butter are families, small businesses, and farms, right? So if you have, several hundred employees and you're doing tens of millions in revenue every year, we're probably not the right place for you. You know what I mean? But if you're a small, let's say you're a carpenter or an electrician, plumber, those are great examples of people we work with every day. The general liability side is very important. But a lot of these people, these small business owners, they're doing things a little bit outside of that purview too. It's not just like I do strictly plumbing, right? They'll do plumbing and then they'll do some home renovation for somebody. They'll redo the whole bathroom, right? So one of the important things is again, goes back to sitting down with your agent, and luckily the small business owners that we work with, they are very tied in. I mean, you own a small business, right? So you understand that's your baby, and you want to make sure you're taking care of it. And we're on the phone all the time with them. But just making sure that, hey, I'm getting ready to do a project that's a little bit outside of kind of when I wrote this policy with you 2 years ago, this is all I was really doing. I was just installing HVAC systems. That's it. But now I'm getting ready to do a home remodel for this guy. Am I covered for that? Well, you're not right now. Okay. So let's just add it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about $100, $200 for a year, maybe to add it to the policy. It's not a big difference. And now you can open yourself up to 20, 30 jobs you were saying no to on the front end.
Yeah, rather than just doing that job, something happens and you're like, what on your policy?
We get the call a lot with people that are in landscaping, Okay, I'm a landscaper. Well, what does that mean? Are you hardscaping, you redoing flower beds, or are you grading a lot for a new home to be put on? There's a lot of big differences there. So, if you don't have the right coverage, it can bite you in those claims. Let's say there's a, $250,000 loss on something and you weren't covered correctly. Well, that can bankrupt a small business, right? So again, we do a really good job in my office with my team of trying to stay in contact with our small businesses frequently, just on projects they're working on. But if you don't have that, with whoever you're with right now, I'd just encourage you to get that conversation started. Make sure you're checking in when you're doing something that's a little bit different than your day-to-day to make sure if you do have a big loss, it's going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's the last thing that you want to have to stress about when, when something like that happens.
Yeah, I mean, being honest, insurance is a pain to pay for, right? It is what it is. But it's even worse if you're paying for it and you're not covered the way you think you are.
Yeah.
Right? So, again, those small conversations go a long way.
Yeah, I like that. So you guys you said you work with families and small businesses a lot. You have your car insurance, your life insurance. I know people talk about umbrella policies a lot, but what are all the different things that you guys offer?
Yeah, so we work with home, auto, life, health, business, boats, tractors,
any kind of insurance you can think of.
Basically anything. I mean, there's some things I mentioned, major commercial operations that we're just not the right fit for. And honestly, sometimes it doesn't mean we can't do it. I would just encourage you to go to somebody else because they're going to be better for it, right? Yeah. But we offer I tell my clients, if it says insurance, call me, right? Because there's probably a good chance I can help you with it.
Yeah.
But with health insurance, we are partnered with Blue Cross, so we work with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Life insurance, we're in-house. Farm Bureau has its own life insurance company, been around for 80 years.
Okay.
And then Farm Bureau itself, doing the home and the auto, the farm and the business side, we've been around since 1953.
Wow.
So, yeah, we've got a long-standing history. We only work in North Carolina, so we don't work in any other states. Every single office in the county is local agents to the community they work in.
Yeah.
So we kind of pride ourselves on that. And we have a good relationship with our community.
Yeah, that's my next question was I feel like you guys have a ton of community involvement. So I want to talk about that for a minute.
Yeah. I mean, we just look at, so the way we operate is basically our home office is in Raleigh, and they say, you guys kind of just do what you want to do in your counties, right? So
because they don't know what's going on in all the individual.
Exactly, and they're very good about that. They allow us to, we're sponsoring Little League teams. We're working with local magazines, things like that. But we do community events as well. We'll do like coffee and cars somewhere. We'll have a tent set up at a basketball tournament. We just did the high school state playoffs. We were at Lawrence Joel sponsoring that. So
cool.
We try to get as involved as we can because these are, at the end of the day, it's our clients and the people we work with every day that are at these events and hosting them and even running the business that's providing the event. And we want to be involved with that. So, yeah.
Well, and that's, obviously great marketing for
sure.
You guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It doesn't hurt that way either.
Yeah, because it's cool. It's cool to actually know, to see your insurance agent like, oh, he's actually like sponsoring the Little League team and he's doing it. Like, he's not just some like national guy who I've never met and will never meet.
Yeah, we do a big event at the Carolina Classic Fair each year with the Forsyth County people. And it's so much fun staying out there. We'll bring horses in for the kids and stuff like that. But just how many people will walk by and be like, "Hey, Dalton, what's going on, man?" And you're like, "Oh, it's just it's fun."
You know a ton
there.
of people.
Yeah, true.
Sure.
But yeah, it's just a lot of fun, kind of seeing your clients out in the world and having a real relationship with them. And again, it goes back to those meetings and sitting down with families and businesses, but it's real relationships. It's not so transactional, and it's just a lot of fun for us. Yeah.
So what have you learned in like the leadership role as far as managing? You manage a lot of agents, you manage your office. Like what advice would you have that would be helpful for other people in that role?
Strap in, So, no, it's, I got into the management side because luckily I had an opportunity to do it and it was provided for me. So I took advantage of it and I've been very lucky to do it. But, the thing that I look at every day, and I talk to my wife a lot about it when I'm struggling with a decision at work or something, but it's, at the end of the day, and, this may sound a little coarse, but Farm Bureau is not going to remember me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that, when I leave here, someone's going to take my seat and the company will keep rolling. Everyone's going to be fine. And yeah, you can leave a legacy at your company. Sure, you can do great things, but it's the people you work with and your clients and how are they going to remember you, when you're gone. And so I try to put that first is, how's this going to affect their life? How's this going to affect their even opinion of me? Now, if you got to have a hard conversation, you got to have a hard conversation, right? But just thinking about their interests first is kind of what I try to think of before anything else, right? So I don't know if that's really advice or not, but
I think that's great advice.
Yeah, that's how I go about it.
Yeah. I think another part of that, which I've seen you do, is you really take care of your team.
Sure. Yeah.
I know I saw y'all had an employee appreciation
that was fun.
thing a few days ago, I think. And I've been attending conferences and just reading up on stuff and as far as the magazine and the gym, and it's taking care of your people and your team is just like the most important thing. Yeah. Because if they're not happy, the business ain't going to go well.
Yeah, 100%. And they're dealing with things that, a lot of our employees and our staff are more frontline. They're taking some hard questions before you even get on the phone with the client, and that can be stressful. Yeah. And I just always try to remember that they're dealing with things on a daily basis that I'm not in my seat. And I, again, just try to think about that before I make a decision.
Yeah, and if they feel supported and taken care of, they're going to look out for you and your business too. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And we just have, just give them a little bit of a shout out, but our staff are phenomenal. Yeah. Our office is great, and it's just very lucky. I feel very lucky to be where I am,
Well, I agree. Like the vibes in there are good. When I go to drop off magazines every month, I deliver to several places, and some places just the vibe is just off when you walk in. But you got your ladies at the front are always happy to see me. Like they're always so sweet. It just feels. It's a good energy when you walk in there.
Yeah, and that's something. Keep it going,
and that's something that I'm sure you've worked really hard to cultivate, and you've done a good job doing that.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, we got good people. So
yeah, and good people stick around if you take care of them.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, what else? I had another question for you. We talked about misconceptions. Oh, are there any, and we kind of talked about this too, but financial mistakes that you see people making, I guess, as far as not sitting down and getting the right things on their policy?
Yeah.
How often do you recommend people do that?
What I try to do is anytime I'm writing a new policy for somebody, especially if it's a brand new client that we've never met with before, it's, hey, can I come out to the house? Can I just sit down with you guys at the kitchen table? And I know, I get some weird looks sometimes when they're like, why would you do that? We're with another company and we did everything online. And I'm like, well, when I go out to a house and I meet the family and you learn everything there is to know about them in a short period of time given. But you can see things just at the house. There's a big garage over there. And it's $100,000 building. And I'm like, hey, what's that? Yeah. And they're like, oh, well, we just built that last year. I'm like, well,
not on your policy.
The policy you showed me that you wanted me to quote against, basically, there was no coverage for that. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, that's why I want to come out here. I just want to see it, because there's going to be some things that, again, when we're quoting against another company or, looking at what they currently have, that doesn't mean that's what they need. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I can give you the apples to apples. Here's where we are if we did the exact same thing. But 90% of the time, we don't need to do the exact same thing. We need to look at it and tailor it to what you guys have going on, which is going to be different.
That's a good point. So if somebody was interested in getting a quote from you, how would they go about that process?
Yeah, a couple different ways. We do have an online portal. You can go onto the website, ncfbins.com, and you can select an agent and ask them for a quote right there. Okay. You can also call our office at 336-785-3978 and just ask to speak with an agent that's working that day and be happy to put it together. Again, they're probably going to ask to come out to the house and check things out on their own. But yeah, be happy to do that.
I think that's awesome, though. It's better. An online company is not able to do that. So
Exactly. So we try to be a little bit different. We are people first, client first, and even back to the claims process. Sometimes people will call me and say, hey, if you hear from my adjuster, I'm wondering about that. Hey, they're going to call you before they call me. They are client direct. They take care of people very well, and we're number one rated claims process in the nation, even though we only work in North Carolina, which is a big deal for us.
That's very impressive.
Yeah. So again, it's just we got a good thing going, and we're trying to keep that reputation and uphold the reputation they've had for so long.
Yeah. What advice would you give to somebody who's, fresh out of school and who is thinking about getting into the insurance world?
I'd tell them to call me. You know what I mean? Call me and come hang out.
He's a good boss, guys.
Yeah. So we're always hiring. It might not be my office hiring, but there's several Forsyth County offices, several Guilford County. But the biggest thing I'd recommend is just sitting down with an agent. And Farm Bureau is very good at that. I don't know the processes with other companies, but at Farm Bureau, you'll just say, hey, I'm interested in that. You'll come sit down with me or another manager, and we'll kind of walk you through what it looks like and what you're expected to do. It's going to be kind of what I talked about here. You're expected to meet with your clients and sit down and do a full review with them, and that includes asking them all these questions you have no idea about till you get there. But again, if you like relationships and you like working with people, it's an incredible job. It's all you do, so highly recommend it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's good to see somebody who's passionate about what they do. And it's clear that you are.
Same to you. Yeah. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, Dalton, it was so much fun chatting about all things insurance, talking about the family, all the things.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So he mentioned the website. If you are interested in getting a quote, head to the website and check Dalton out. We'll put that in the show notes so you can click directly on it. And as always, you can find Forsyth Mags on social media at Forsyth Mags, as well as online at forsythwoman.com and forsythfamilymagazine.com. And you can always see Dalton and Forsyth Family. And that's it. That's a wrap for today. Thanks, y'all. The views and opinions stated on this podcast are solely those of the contributors and not necessarily those of our distributors or hosting companies. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced without expressed written consent of Forsyth Magazines Incorporated. Whew, that's a mouthful.